How is it going, everybody? Hope you're all doing really well, and welcome to episode number 4 today of our Pro Evolution Soccer 2018 Olympique Lyon Master League. Again today for you, we've got 3 games in a jam-packed episode. We're kicking things off with the game against Athens in the Europa League. We've then got a big derby game against Marseille in the centre, and we're finishing off with another reasonably big game in Ligue 1, really. Montpellier, a bit of a sleeping giant, really, in terms of the French league. They, of course, as some of you may know, won actually Ligue 1 a few years back when Olivier Giroud was a big part of their team. Then obviously he's since moved on to Arsenal and Chelsea, playing for France now, so he has had a good career, but that's where it all really began for Giroud. But you can see we actually played a pretty weakened side here against Athens. We're really doing pretty well in the Europa League, it's fair to say. So far we've got 6 points out of 6 before this game. Of course, you don't have to play every single team twice, so there's no guarantee that we're through as of yet, but the signs were good, and it's proven a pretty decent tournament in terms of getting some of those reserve players involved, the likes of Bertrand Traoré, who hasn't seen as much time with Correa coming in, the likes of Ferry in the midfield. There's a few of them in there, and yeah, it's been working really well. But you can see the big first chance of the game falls to us. Unfortunately, it's Correa, and he couldn't quite. Well, I say unfortunately it's Correa. What I mean is, unfortunately, Correa missed it. But he ends up making it as well, putting a wonderful ball into the box, and it's Memphis Depay. And what more can you say about Depay that hasn't been said already in this career mode so far? He is just an incredible poacher. He hasn't scored a multitude of worldies, as you'd call it, but he always seems to be in and around that 6-yard box, whether it's on his right foot, left foot, head. He's finishing all kinds of chances, and that's exactly what we want to see from the Dutch winger. He is, of course, one of our main players, one of the players that made me think that coming to Lyon as a career mode, as a Master League, would be a nice choice, and he's proving that point. You can see we have a couple of really good chances here with Diaz, a player that hasn't seen much action for us. I thought we'd give him a go in this game, and both chances were unfortunately squandered, and as dominant as we've been, we go into the second half only 1-0 up, and it actually took until almost the 80th minute where Nibble Fekir netted to make it 2. We brought a few of these players on to, just make sure we sealed the game. I think Fekir came on. I think Ben Yedder might have come on as well. I can't quite remember now, but we made a few changes to try and make sure that we brought the 3 points home. We didn't want to take too much for granted, and that's exactly what we did. It's a lovely finish from Fekir, outside of the foot finisher, really. Again, same as Depay. Been an outstanding player for us in this Master League so far, and again one of the reasons that we chose to be Lyon, big name in the team. And you can see that is the full-time score. 2-0 win at home against Athens. Absolutely fantastic to come through, especially being, as I like to say, we rested a few players. But we're now going to jump into the live com of today's episode, which is a huge derby game against Marseille. So we're going to pass over to that now and get into the action. So here we go then, guys. Welcome to the live com of today's episode. We're playing against Marseille, another really big game in the context of the league. I think when you think about the teams that are big in France, the teams that you consider to be in the top 4, top 3 teams, you've got the likes of PSG, that goes without saying. You've got Monaco, then your likes of Lyon, Marseille, perhaps Montpellier you could put in there, who are the team we're actually facing after Marseille, because they won the league a few years ago now. In fact, to say a few years ago, it was probably a long time ago. But yeah, really, I think PSG, Monaco, Marseille and Lyon are the big 4 teams in France. Of course, we didn't fare too well against PSG in the last game, so we're hoping to hit back. Great results against Athens. We rested the team a little bit as well. Hopefully that can pay dividends and we can win this game now against Marseille. Like I said, another big one, some big players. Let's see how we get on. You can see the manager G'ing up the players. This one clearly is classed as a big derby game against Lyon. Like I've just said, 2 of the bigger teams in France. It's kind of strange. We didn't have this against PSG, so people in the comments let me know. Maybe Lyon, Marseille are there geographically closer. They've seen as big rivals in France. You can see the lineup in the background. I have actually made a change in our team, and that is the fact that I'm giving Diakby a start ahead of Younger and Bieber. We played him in the League Cup game, the French Cup game, whatever you want to call it, and he didn't do incredibly well. He did okay, but Younger and Bieber has let me down a couple of times now, so we're going to give him a chance in this big game to hopefully do pretty well. The rest of the team remaining the same as that we're used to seeing at this point now. Ben Yedder, Correa and Depay, the front 3, hoping to cause all the damage. And looking at the lineup for Marseille, some very recognisable names in there, particularly in defence. We've got Rod Fanny, who used to be an absolute icon back in the day on FIFA. He used to be a great player. Luis Gustavo, obviously a very familiar player. Dale Stevens in the Marseille midfield, a bit of a strange one, but of course the main man, without any shadow of a doubt, Dimitri Payet. Oh, don't. In fact, let's have a quick look. I'm not sure where they're actually playing him in this team. They're playing him on that left-hand side, where I think is actually less dangerous than if they played him in the middle of the park. But then again, Morgan Sanson, another very important player for them. But big game. Let's see how we get on. Let's get into it, boys. Here we go then, Marseille versus Lyon. It is also worth mentioning, of course, that we are away from home in this one. I mean, some people might say it doesn't make a big difference when you're playing PES and FIFA in these kind of games, but genuinely, I think there is an influence within the game for home and away, especially when it comes to the big games like such as this one. Already been through the teams, we know who's on the field, we know what's at stake. Again, just like I said against PSG, we need to be winning these kind of games if we want to win the league. Of course, it didn't go well against PSG, but I think it's fair to say Marseille, although they are a top team, are certainly a level down, and this is a game that we should be aiming to win if we've got any ambitions of winning the league. So let's get into it. We need a win. Let's get 3 points, and let's keep the pressure up on that top of the table bunch. So Marseille get us underway in this game, classed as a derby game, as you saw from the talk from the manager at the start, and we are getting off to a very, very quick start here. I'm going to just whip that ball straight in, and we get ourselves an early corner, but nice early start from us. Bit of pressure, got a set piece. Can we do anything from it? It's going to be Nebel Fekir to whip it in. Of course, our star man puts in a decent ball. We're going to lay this back, crack this first time. Goes flying over the bar. It's the first shot of the game. Good start though, good start. You've got to get that 8 feet quicker. We could be made to pay here. We got caught dawdling. Cross is going to come in surely. Payet, oh my god, Payet's doing exactly. Oh, it's gone in. 1-0 down. I thought we even had it at the back stick, but it's Morgan Sanson that taps in. Payet doing exactly the same as what Cavani did when we played against PSG. I just thought he was going to cut back in. I really did think he was going to cut back in, but he goes to the byline. Hey, we didn't get the foot in here. Look at that at the back stick. It's poor defending from the number. I think he's at 26. Not good enough at the back stick, and Marseille take an early lead. Disappointing start. Then he heads back to Depay. Come on, Memphis. He's got some space to run into here. Does really well. Finds Ben Yedder. We should have pulled the trigger. Depay should have pulled the trigger. Marseille have dropped back a little bit now. We've got the we're the ones putting on the pressure all of a sudden. And that's a great little ball. This is a great chance. This has got to be. Has to be 1-1. What a tackle. What a tackle. I thought we were back in the game. Lovely ball here from Ben Yedder into the space. Look at that between the two defenders. You put your house on Fekir to score. What a tackle that is though. Unreal. Oh my word, and Marseille are on the break. It's Dimitri Payet, not the man you want in the final third when you're the opposing team. He's racing through and he's made it 2-0. I cannot believe it. From that incredible chance we had at one end of the pitch, we get the corner, we get broken on. Sometimes PES is like FIFA, and it's 2-0 to Marseille, and just like that, we have got a mountain to climb. We're in trouble again. It's in this area of the pitch. It's 3-0. Marseille are absolutely rampant right now. 3-0 down. Morgan Sanson at the double, and it's almost an identical goal to the first one. And this is becoming a bit embarrassing very quickly. Very, very similar. Maybe that's something I need to get wise to. That just not cutting back, running to the byline, drops the pass back, and Sanson finishes with ease. This is becoming a bit of a schooling, this one. And let's try and watch the go to the byline. They've just whipped it in this time. What is going on? We're 4-0 down. We have not been dominated like this in this entire series up to now. It's Dimitri Payet. I think it just hits the post and hits him. We are just, it's a mixture of Marseille being so clinical, and at the same time we're just not getting the look. What happens there? Oh, it's hit the post, it's hit the keeper, and it's gone in. It shouldn't go down as Payet's goal, really, I don't think. What can you say? 4-0 down. It's becoming damage limitation very, very quickly. Well, it's about as close as was coming the second half, that is, to be honest. Thank you. Oh, so much space. Come on, get the... Everything is just falling back to Marseille. It's the 92nd minute. Morgan Sanson has scored a hat-trick against us. He has just been in the right place at the right time all game long, and all I can say is this has been embarrassing. We have struggled in the final third, we've struggled in the defensive third, the midfield's been non-existent, and changes are going to have to be made for the next game. We've been reasonably okay so far in this career mode in this season. I mean, we lost to PSG, but we are being absolutely torn apart by Marseille. I mean, it's concerning that we played two decent teams so far this season, and we've conceded 9 goals and scored 2. There's the full-time whistle. One word, embarrassing. Let's move on, please. My God. You can see we remain 4th in the table, which doesn't seem too bad, you know, going for the title. But we are now, because of that defeat to PSG and the defeat to Marseille, we're now 6 points off the pace, which is the most disappointing thing. Of course, there's a long way to go. We can still certainly improve, but the less said about that result, the better, because it was a derby game and we've been absolutely destroyed. Absolutely, I'm saying it again, embarrassing. Well, guys, we're now moving forward into the game against Montpellier after what was a bitterly disappointing derby game. I can tell you it pained me to go back and edit that because we were absolutely trounced. It's not very often you see that in a career mode, so I'm being absolutely smashed around the park, but, you know, it does happen every now and then, and, yeah, Marseille just a more clinical team on the day, and we were made to pay. So we made a couple of changes, actually, as a reaction to that defeat, bringing in Bertrand Traoré for a start, who's been pretty decent, and Cray has been a bit mildly disappointing. He's not been bad, but Bertrand Traoré, whenever he plays, always seems to get a goal, so I thought we'd put him into the squad. Hopefully, again, he could grab a goal, and, again, really the main thing was to come back with a win, to keep that pressure up on the teams at the top and make sure we don't let that gap get too big like you saw before this game. I think it was 6 points, and we started off considering a very good chance to Marseille. That header that you saw at the start could have comfortably gone in. It was a really good chance for them, and thankfully it wasn't taken, and then we made them pay by going 1-0 up, and this then ended up turning into a demolition of our own. You can see that's a great save by the goalkeeper, but we kept the pressure going. We really did see a great reaction after that defeat against Marseille, as you'll see as this game goes on. We were creating chances left, right and centre, and it made me think a couple of the players that we started here may be making a mistake for a first team place. The likes of Lo Celso we put in the middle instead of Ndombele. And Ndombele, by the way, he's been fantastic for us, but Lo Celso is another one. Similar to Traoré, whenever he comes in, he always seems to make an impact. You see we make it 2-0 from the resulting corner after the keeper made that great save. Ben Nidge with his second of the game, who was awful against Marseille, but then really stepped back up to the mark in this game. And 2-0 up. You can see we're approaching half-time, 43rd minute. Depay's going to take this free kick, and he is going to bend it in off the goalkeeper. He got a hand to it, but I don't think you can really say too much about the keeper not getting in there because Depay hit it so well, and that put us 3-0 up before half-time. And like I say, we were bouncing back. It was almost like, you know, sometimes when you see a bigger team lose a game and then they react so well, it's almost like you don't want to play them then because they're angry. That's exactly what this was like. We were 3-0 up before half-time, and the domination kept on coming, and very similar to Marseille when they absolutely smashed us, the ball just kept on falling into the right place. You can see we missed a good chance there. It's a good save, but the rebound falls to Memphis Depay, to make it 4-0. And from a tight angle as well, he slotted it in. You can see we weren't done there yet either. Lovely ball over the top, and Ben Yedder chips it over the goalkeeper to make it 5. So after a 5-0 defeat to Marseille, we then bounce back with a 5-0 win against Montpellier. Absolutely crazy, and it does show, because in my mind, Montpellier are probably, you've got the likes of PSG and Monaco at the top of the tree in terms of Ligue 1 quality teams. You've then got the likes of Lyon and Marseille. I would put Montpellier in the next bracket down after that. They're probably the team that's looking to come into the Europa League spots if they can, but there just seems to be a huge gap, and you might say that's obvious in the French league, but there's a huge gap between the top teams and the sort of middle to sixth teams, because the quality in that PSG Monaco team is outrageous. What you can see full time, we've come away with a 5-0 win. What better way to respond to a 5-0 defeat than to come back with a 5-0 win? Absolutely fantastic. And as you'll see from the league table in just a second, it closes things up again, and we're only 4 points off top of the table again, if I remember correctly. So despite that 5-0 defeat to Marseille and the humiliation that came with it, we're not a million miles away from where we want to be. But that is going to end up this episode, guys. Again, if you did enjoy it, which I hope you still are with this series, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video. It's always greatly appreciated. I will catch you all in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your week. Nidge out.